I love my base. I mean, why wouldn't I? It's great. But the area around it is a little lacking. That's why today we're starting a project that is probably going to take years to complete. That's right, I want to turn the entire landscape around the castle into a massive city. So let's get to work and make the city I've always dreamt of. For the first building in our city, I've decided to keep it similar to the palette of the castle. Almost like the people who built this look up to the king or the royals and wanted to mimic what they have or honor them even. Just a little side note here too, I'm not sure why my skin didn't render properly in some of these replay mod files, but hopefully you guys can forgive me. And yes, I'll be trying to come up with just a little bit of lore for all these builds. I think that'll make it a little bit more immersive and more fun, honestly. And also, I think it's a cool way to get you guys involved with the world. Alright, and now that it's done, let's check out the interior. You know, not only do I want these builds to look cool on the inside and the outside, but I also want them all to serve some sort of purpose, whether that be a farm or, in this case, just a place to write down my ideas. I think it's a little cooler to have it in here where I can, you know, check them off with different colored dyes, and you guys can kind of follow along rather than me having everything in my notes tab on my phone. Also, some of these are a little spoilery because this is the future, but let's ignore that and just take a look at how cool this chandelier looks. I wanted to try my hand at doing something like this, which, you know, I've never really done before. I think it turned out pretty nicely. What do you think? This next build draws heavy inspiration from one of Legend B's builds. I really love the shape he used, and I wanted to recreate that while making it my own. I'll leave a link to the video below so you can check out his channel. He makes some great stuff. This building, or rather 3 buildings in one, is called the Prickly Pub, and you guessed it, it's a pub that also doubles as a cactus farm. Now, the farm was pretty tough to fit inside of here, and I designed it myself, so it's not going to be the most efficient, but it should be running in the background since it's right by the base. And that goes for most of the farms around here. They're not going to be the most efficient, but it won't matter since it's going to be running in the background. Plus, I don't really need a ton of cacti. Alright guys, and here it is, the interior of the Prickly Pub. I'll hide the HUD there for a second so you could see. I just kind of went for a more cozy, traditional kind of aspect, you know, with all these different banners, the different paintings there, and then like some shelves. Maybe they, you know, they're storing some of their cactus juice or whatever you want to call it, whatever they're distilling here, and then maybe some armor and stuff from around the city. I think the lure for this one, it's more so that this was, you know, multiple buildings at one time and it's kind of been repurposed over the years, but it's finally found its home as a long-lasting staple of the community where they have all kinds of, you know, good food where you can come down, sit with your friends, enjoy a nice drink from the cactus juice. So we got these little taps here, and then you can also see where they distill it. And I thought it'd be a cool feature as well. You could see all the way over into the other little tower over there, which I think is kind of neat. Like you can watch the gin or whatever get distilled here just from the outside if you're passing by. So yeah, I think that's kind of a little bit on the lure, but you know, feel free to add more in the comments down below or chime in, let me know what you think. Down here, I guess it's kind of like the maintenance room or like, you know, extra storage, just kind of like some shelves, whatever here, very low ceiling, kind of like dirt floors. This though is something that I want to take another second and talk about, and this is my little, I guess I call it a credit book. So you can see in here, before I had mentioned that Legend B was the guy who really inspired me for this build. I kind of, you know, took that shape that he had and then changed it, tried to make it my own. So anytime that I build something, not only do I want to give them credit in the video, like I did earlier, but I also want to include a book, you know, with the link to that specific video or that creator's channel, just, you know, as a nod to them and a way to, you know, remember who I was inspired by, or remember who helped me, create this, or maybe whose design I just, straight up used. Just a way that, especially too if there's a world download ever, that we can, really thank them for helping me out here. So that's a fun thing I'm going to be doing. You'll see some more of that later in the video. I also have this chest, which is the output from the cactus farm. No, it is not this efficient. It has been just running for a long time since this was built. This was built, God, probably a couple months ago. Spoiler alert. But yeah, that's the basement. We also have this nice little brick fireplace, and I like the idea that this has been here for, a long time, maybe through a couple different buildings. And as we can see up here, we have some more storage, making it a little cluttered. Maybe these are getting shipped out sometime soon. Then maybe a big one that you can, big table rather, that you can reserve for family and friends if you got a big event. Couple more little seats, little dining areas with some nice window views, which I'm going to avoid for spoiler reasons. And then we just have a couple extra little taps here where maybe you can get a refill or try different juice. Kind of saw this downstairs, but I'll fly inside here and show you guys what's going on. This is, there's also a third tier. We got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and it's not lossless. There we go. It's not lossless. But I did my best, and these hoppers around the back here collect most of the additional loss. But basically, this works by just the cactus grows. It hits into. Oh, there we go. You can see it in action. See, the cactus grows. It gets broken. It apparently gets stuck here. I need to fix it, but it grows. It's broken. Falls down, and the idea is it goes into these hoppers and then ends up back in this chest down here. Our next build is nearly identical to a build by Sunny Sev, but just with a few minor tweaks to make it my own. I'll be sure to link her video down below, and please make sure to check out her channel. She has some really awesome content. Inside of this build, I want to make a 2 tall flower farm. Why, you ask? Well, I don't really have a great answer for that, but one day it might come in handy, and I really want to have a farm for everything so that one day I can be lazy. Anyways, I'm putting a 2 tall flower farm in here whether you like it or not. I'm also doing the redstone myself, so that means it's going to be needlessly complicated. But I'm at the stage where I'll sacrifice function for form any day. I think this place is great. It's so cute and unique, which is really the vibe I'm going for with this part of town. On the inside here, the first level, we have our 2 tall flower farm. So we have peonies, lilacs, and on this side, roses and sunflowers. And basically how this works is, and the redstone's a little too compact, or I'd walk back there and show you myself. But basically this dispenser is turned on by this lever, shoots out bone meal, and then there's a hopper underneath that picks it up and runs into this chest. So let me show you. Check it out. That all gets picked up, and now we have, 61 lilacs. All right, let's head upstairs. This part feels like a little more creative, as opposed to the primarily redstone downstairs. So yes, there is a lot of storage up here, just supposed to be a lot of, different pots and things where they might keep the flowers. But I also have this little desk here, a little creative space, because the lore for this build is that this used to be owned by, an elderly husband and wife. And when the wife had passed away, her husband decided to, keep pursuing his passion for art and writing in this little space up here, but he knew how much this flower shop brought joy to his wife, so he went ahead and he still runs the day-to-day operation. So that's kind of what's going on here. I know, such a heartwarming story, but he's keeps her memory alive by following her dreams of the flower shop while pursuing his dream of writing and creating art. And then, of course, as mentioned before, I have the credit book that I kind of keep up here on his desk. And this one goes to Sunny Sev's build. That is a tongue twister. But again, she is a really awesome builder, has some really great hardcore content if you're looking for more to watch. So all credit to her for this design. And yeah, hopefully one day if I do a world download, except if I do a world download, this will be here for you guys as well, but the link should be down below too, so check her out. So at this point, we're a few buildings into this part of town, but we haven't really come up with a name for it yet. I mean, every good city needs a name. And good news, I have a great name. But I'm not quite ready to share it yet. Yeah, sorry, I know that's not exactly what you guys wanted to hear, but let me know what you think I should name it in the comments. How about I give you a name of this section of town? Does that sound fair? Okay. This area is called Midtown. Not because it's mid, although it's not done yet, so that's kind of tough to tell. But no, because this is going to be the central focus of the city, with lots of colorful, vibrant buildings, and a ton of important places here. No deep dive of this one really because, well, it's tiny. I don't know what I'll do with it. I just thought it'd be really cool to have another sort of watchtower. You know, almost as if the castle used to extend this far, but hundreds of years later, it's inched back to where it is now. Let me know what you think I should do with it. Just stopping in to say if you're enjoying yourself so far, maybe subscribe. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this project is going to take ages, so stick around if you want to see how the rest of it goes. Okay, for our final build of today, we have one straight from the mind of Mr. ztVypr, which is me. That's me, I'm him. For this one, I wanted to combine some unique colors and blocks that I don't use a lot of. I'm really trying to push myself with my builds. I feel like the more uncomfortable I get, the better things I create. This build is no exception. It uses looms, honeycomb, composters, shroom lights, bamboo, and more. Some odd blocks that really don't seem like they'd work together, but honestly, I think it's turning out well. Splitting it up into multiple spaces, but still having them combine works really well, especially with a block palette as wild as this one. The inside of this build is a little bit different than the others. As you can see, this one is definitely a little heavier on the farming aspect of things. So inside we have a ton of farms, but let's start over here. Basically just some extra water bottle storage. The only like nice looking, less functional part of the build. And that is all for our mud farm. This right here is basically a really quick way. And then I have to use this shovel because otherwise my shovel here is too fast with efficiency 4. But basically just a quick way to get lots of mud and apparently break some glass. Not the greatest thing ever, but not bad. Comes in handy for sure. Gonna need a lot of mud in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. Then over here, we have this basalt generator. Now, unfortunately, this is not really functioning right now because it had burned down some of the wooden parts back here. So this guy is offline for right now. But then if we go upstairs, we have a couple little micro farms, and I'm going to turn that off because it's probably really loud and annoying, but this is just a micro like mini crop farm. And then over here we have a cocoa bean farm. So basically these shoot out bone meal, even though I need to build a bone meal farm soon. These shoot out bone meal and you can constantly break the cocoa beans there and just get a ton of beans. And I think, yep, I got a couple stored over here. Over here, we just have a couple of notes on how to use the mud farm, which was designed by Il Mango, by the way, as most farms are nowadays, or at least a lot of them. He's great. And then, yeah, in the center here, I wanted to, add a little more decorative stuff. And you can kind of see where the top of the build goes. So definitely a little bit of empty space there, but that's okay. As for the lure for this building, I'm not positive, so you guys can definitely change my mind in the comments. I was thinking maybe an old tinker, mechanic, or somebody bought this space and, just kind of turned it into his workshop, where he has all these wacky inventions, hence all the random farms and like zero livable space in here. But let me know what you guys think. Either way, I'm super happy with how this build turned out and how the whole city is shaping up. Next episode, I'd like to finish up this section of the city. That means more builds, paths, trees, and whatever. Anything to tie this place together. This is really just the first step in turning the world into one big connected story. And honestly, I couldn't be more excited. But until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.